As additional information, this event can be followed live via the YouTube channel of Unitri TV. Thank you.
Oke, kami akan siapkan di ini ya, MC. Oke.
Recording in progress.
Yang baru disetor itu larinya. Peserta yang belakang nak nampak.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention please? Our agenda is about to begin. Please have a nice seat and back to your position, and please switch off or make sure your mobile is in silent position while joining this event. Thank you. As additional information, this event can be followed live via the YouTube channel of Unitri TV. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are pleased to welcome you to this international seminar of Indonesian Biochar Association 2024 with the theme Biochar for Carbon Capture and Storage to Achieve Sustainable Development Goals. My name is Rizkiana Zahra and my partner,
Johannes van Dem.
We are honored to be your master of ceremony for today's event.
We are delighted to have such a diverse and distinguished group of participants from various parts of the world joining us. A warm welcome to our distinguished guests and speakers who have traveled from various parts of the world to joining with us. Your presence is a testament to the importance of our theme and the global interest it garners. We also want to greet the participants from the Zoom meeting. We have some participants from Timor-Leste and some places from Indonesia. This seminar brings leading researchers, experts, and professionals who share a common passion for biochar for a sustainable environment. The knowledge and experiences that each of you brings to this seminar is invaluable, so we are excited about the rich discussions and collaborations that will unfold today.
We would like to take a moment to express our immense gratitude to all the parties and the sponsors who have made this event possible. Without their support, we would not be here today. We are truly thankful to the sponsors, Yayasan Pendidikan Bina Patria Nusantara, Perum Jasa Tirta 1, PT Rizky Putra Kasih, Global Collection, UD Gilang, CV Megakarya, Toko Pancatunggal, Unitri, Unram, Unital, ABI, and Unitri TV.
Before proceeding, we would like to remind you to put your cell phones on silence mode or switch off to ensure that our event runs smoothly and everyone has a productive and enjoyable experience. Let us officially begin our seminar with a warm and vibrant start without further ado.
To set the tone for our seminar and celebrate our country-rich cultural heritage, we are honored to present a traditional dance performance. The Ruai dance. This dance is inspired by the legend of a king who had 7 very beautiful daughters. Unfortunately, the king's youngest daughter transformed into Ruai birds. And the Ruai birds, originating from West Kalimantan, is an important element for the Dayak people alongside the hornbill. The Ruai bird is also known for the beauty of its feathers, which adorn its body from head to tail. Please join me in welcoming the performers of Ruai dance.
Let's give a round of applause to the traditional dancers. I'd like to invite everyone to stand up for the national anthem of Indonesia. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand up. Thank you. Be seated.
Before we begin the seminar, I'd like to take a few moments to explain the rules for today's seminar. The first one, please make sure your cell phones are on silent mode or switch off, so we don't disturb the speakers and other attendees. The second one, we encourage you all to participate in the discussion and ask questions related to the seminar topic during the Q&A session. At the end of each session, please make sure you keep your question brief and to the point to allow for productive discussion. Third one, we request our attendees refrain from any side conversation during the seminar, as it can distract the other participant. And the last one, please make sure you stay for the duration of the seminar, as it will provide a holistic understanding of the topic. We hope you will adhere these rules and participate fully in the seminars. Thank you for your cooperation and enjoy the seminar.
Our first session will be with Dr. Miranti Aryani and Associate Professor Rosalsin. For this session, Dr. Erwin Ismu Wisnubroto, SPM Phil, will moderate the session. Let me introduce the moderator today. Dr. Erwin Ismu Wisnubroto, SPM Phil, is a lecturer and researcher at Universitas Tribuana Tunggadewi. He received his bachelor's degrees from Universitas Brawijaya. His master's degrees was from Massey University, New Zealand, in soil science, and his doctoral degree was from Institut Pertanian Bogor in natural resources and environmental management. To Dr. Erwin Ismu Wisnubroto, please come to the stage.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure for me to guide you for the first session of the keynote speakers. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests and honored speaker, Dr. Miranti Aryani from the Indonesian Agriculture Environment Standardization Testing Institute, Ministry of Agriculture, Republik Indonesia, Associate Professor Rosalind Abdullah, PhD, from the Institute of Biological Science from University of Malaya, Mr. Yasuyuki Okimori, PhD, from Japan Biochar Research Center, Ritsumeikan University, Insinyur Fauzan Komedi from Great Giant Foods Ltd, and also for esteemed participants. Good morning and welcome to this pivotal session of the international seminar of the Indonesian Biochar Association with theme Biochar for Carbon Capture and Storage to Achieve Sustainable Development Goals. I am honored to serve you as a moderator today as we embark on a journey of knowledge, innovation and collaboration. Today we are privileged to begin our seminars with a keynote address that promised to set the stage for our discussion and exploration over the rest of the conference. Our keynote speaker is a renowned expert whose contribution to the field of biochar have been groundbreaking and inspirational. Before we introduce our esteemed keynote speakers, I would like to take a moment to acknowledge the importance of the seminars. Biochar is not just a subject of academic inquiry. It is a powerful tool that can transform agricultural practices, enhance soil health, mitigate climate change, and promote environmental sustainability. The insight and knowledge we share here today have the potential to make a significant impact on our world, especially in agriculture and environmental studies. Our keynote speaker today has dedicated their career and research to advancing our understanding of biochar and its application in agriculture and environmental related study. Their work has bridged the gap between research and practical implementation, offering valuable solutions to some of the most pressing challenges of our time. It is our great honor to have them here with us to share their expertise and vision. Without further ado, it is my pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker for the first session, Dr. Miranti Aryani from the Indonesian Agriculture Environmental Standardization Testing Institute, Ministry of Agriculture and Republik Indonesia, and also Associate Professor Rosalind Abdullah, PhD, from the Institute of Biological Science from University of Malaya. I would like to share a brief review on our keynote presenter's career. Dr. Miranti Aryani, she completed her PhD on environmental science from Gajah Mada University, and she has a career involving the climate change working group, Minister of Agriculture from 2012 to 2018. She also facilitated or research person for the development of national and regional action plan on greenhouse gases emission for agriculture sector from 2013 until 2018. And lastly, she also the committee member of ISO TC 207 SC7 Working Group 7 for framework standard in developing ISO 14080 greenhouse gas management and related activities from 2015 until 2018. For our second keynote presenter, Associate Professor Dr. Rosalind Abdullah, PhD, is a lecturer at the Institute of Biological Science, University of Malaya, and previously had the honor to serve as the Director of Agro-Science Center, University of Malaya. She has over 10 years of experience in various national and international agricultural environmental-based projects, and showing the most excellent research result in the field of sustainable soil management. She focused on advocating biochar as a promising material for soil amendment and role of biochar in mitigation of climate change. And currently, she has patented the novel Biochar and Biochar Clean under University Malaya Center of Innovation and Enterprise. She currently serving as the president for Malaysian Soil Scientists Society, executive committee for Malaysian Professional Center, committee member of Biochar Malaysia Association, committee of Urban Neighborhood Farm Kuala Lumpur under the Kuala Lumpur City Hall, and member of Association of Pacific Rim University's Sustainable Waste Management. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming our first speakers for the first session, Dr. Miranti Aryani and Associate Professor Roslyn Abdullah, PhD. For our first session, Dr. Miranti Aryani will present her keynote speakers for this matter. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning to all the distinguished guests, to the Honorable the Director of University of Tribuana Tunggadewi, the fellow speakers, and also the committee and all of the participants. Welcome to the seminar. Before I begin to the presentation, I would like to convey a message from Professor Dadino Samsi. He sends his best regards and also apologize that he was not able to join the seminar today as he was on another assignment by the minister. Therefore, I'm here on behalf of Professor Dedi to present this paper that we have working on together. Please, the presentations. This paper I would like to present today is the potential use of biochar as carbon sequestration and carbon trading. This paper we have prepared together. Our team is Professor Dadino Samsi, and then myself and Ali Pramono, Ibu Sri Mulyani, and Ibu Septalina Pradini. Next, please. This presentation will be divided into 5 chapters. The first one is in the introductions, and then the second one talking about biochar. The third one about the role of biochar to enhance agricultural product. The fourth one, the role of biochar in the environment, and the last one is the role of biochar in carbon trade. Next, please. As we all know that the Earth's temperature has rising since the industrial revolutions. The average global temperature increased by at least 1.10 degrees Celsius. The majority of the warming has occurred since 1975 at a rate of roughly 0.15 to 0.2 degrees Celsius. Since the industrial revolutions, the human activities have released a large amount of carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases into the atmosphere, which has changed the Earth's climate. To cope with this changing climate, the countries has committed to lowering the Earth's temperature by the anthropogenic GHG emissions through adaptations, mitigations, and the synergy between adaptation and mitigations. Next, please. This is the strategy to cope with the climate change. The adaptation are the actions that help to reduce vulnerability to the current or expected effects of climate change. And then the mitigations are the actions to reduce or prevent greenhouse gas emissions from human activities, including agriculture. The action include enhancement of carbon pools, such as the soil carbon sequestrations. There are also the synergy between adaptation and mitigations, and in some cases, the adaptation actions also has a co-benefit to mitigation, such as the implementation of sustainable agriculture. Next. The carbon sequestration is the process of capturing and storing atmospheric carbon dioxide. And carbon trading is the sale of credit that permit a certain level of carbon dioxide emissions. It is a form of carbon pricing to reduce the amount of carbon dioxide emitted to the atmosphere. Next, please. Sustainable agriculture is an integrated system of plant and animal production practices having a site-specific application that will offer a long-term, satisfy human food and fiber needs, enhance environmental quality and the natural resource, make the most efficient use of non-renewable resources and on-farm resources, sustain the economic viability of farm operations, and also enhance the quality of life for farmers and society as a whole. Next, please. Sustainable agriculture involves various sciences like the biology, ecology, and even social sciences. And the concept of sustainable agriculture is to develop agriculture practices that environmentally friendly, economically viable, and socially acceptable. Next. A recent breakthrough which may prove to be vital and use element of sustainable agriculture is the creation of biochar from crop residue. Next. Biochar is a fine-grained, carbon-rich, and porous product remaining after plant biomass has been subjected to pyrolysis process at a temperature between 300 to 600 degrees Celsius with little or no oxidants. It has a high percentage of carbon, a chemical structure that is stable and resistant to decay, have a high porosity and a large specific surface area. It is also called the black gold of agriculture. Can enhance plant growth, absorbs more carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, generated from biological materials such as wood, crop residue, and also poultry litter, and etc. Next, please. It can be classified into several by its raw materials. There are wood, bamboo, plant shells, and etc. By the production method, there is white charcoal, black charcoal, rice hard charcoal, and also the burn and off charcoal. It also can be classified by its shape, like the powdery, the chipped, and molded shape. Next, please. Biochar also can apply as a single soil amendment, but it can be mixed with fertilizer also. The application method, it can be used the homogeneous spreading. We can use the micronized biochar particles via drip irrigation, and etc. Next slide, please. There are several roles of biochar to enhance agricultural product through several properties. The first one is increasing soil nutrient availability, increasing soil water holding capacity, decrease soil bulk density, increasing porosity, and improving soil aggregation. increasing soil microbial activity, improving crop yield, and also increasing carbon sequestration. Next, please. Increasing soil nutrient availability, the addition of biochar could reduce nitrogen losses by 30%. We have these several research results that it can be increase the soil pH, including nutrient supply of potassium, phosphorus, and also molybdenum. The biochar application without blended fertilizer increased the available of phosphorus in topsoil. And biochar from maize, it could release the phosphorus content when applied to the soil. Next slide, please. Biochar could also increase water holding capacity. Biochar improved the water holding capacity of soils and plant available soil water because as it's a large surface area. However, to achieve the significant effects of soil water availability, large amounts of biochar would have to be applied. Next slide. Biochar also could decrease soil bulk density, increase the porosity, and improve the soil aggregations. The soil bulk density could be decreased by 8% after the biochar applications, and then the soil porosity could significantly increase by 8% also. The aggregate suitability increased both in 8% and 25%. Next slide. Increasing soil microbial activity. So the immense surface area of the biochar has an extensive porosity of biochar provides a safe habitat for microorganisms, and this could promote the development of soil microbial activities. The biochar provides a suitable habitat for a large and diverse group of soil microorganisms. Symbiosis between effective microbes and plant root through the medium of charcoal promotes the growth of the plants. Next slide. Biochar also increasing the crop yield. There are results that state biochar could increase the crop yield by 40%. And then the biochar also could increase the coffee by 93%, maize by 90%, and bean by 70%. However, the efficacy of biochar in enhancing crop yields can depend on many factors such as the quality of the biochar, the soil type and soil texture, the existing soil conditions, and also the crops grown. Next slide. Biochar also could increase carbon sequestrations by increase the soil structure, made it more favorable for microbial activity, and yet it is stimulate the root secretions. Some of research result that after 3 years of application of biochar to the soil organic carbon concentrations may increase until 200% higher after 10 to 20 tons per hectare biochar applications. Next slide, please. The role of biochar in the environment. So the soil application of biochar is a potential option for climate change mitigation through the carbon sequestrations and also other agriculture and environmental benefits. Application of biochar into the soil not only sequestered carbon, but also reduced the emissions of carbon dioxide, nitrous oxide, and also methane from soil. It is provide more suitable options for management of agricultural and forestry waste, enhancement of soil sustainability, reducing in fertilizer requirements, production of renewable energy, and several other environmental benefits. Next slide, please. The role of biochar in carbon trading. Carbon trading is a market platform to buy or sell carbon credit. while the carbon credit is a permission to generate and emit 1 ton of carbon dioxide. Biochar has gained recognition as one of the potential carbon offset solutions from the agriculture, even by the IPCC, or the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, in their 6th assessment report, has identified biochar as one of the carbon dioxide removals method to be applied in agriculture for storing carbon into the soil. Next slide. Carbon sequestration potential from agriculture's biomass. So we have tried to calculate the biomass that we could produce into the biochar, like from palm oil, and then from rice, and then from maize. This one is from palm oil. There are empty fruit bunch and palm oil fronds. So if all of these agricultural waste are used as biochar, the potential of soil carbon sequestration is about 60.6 million tons CO2 equivalent per year. We use the calculations, the methodology as it in the IPCC guidelines in 2006. We have the previous slide, please. We see here from the palm oil, from the empty fruit branch. So if the palm oil product in Indonesia is about 45.8 million tons per year, and then the 0.33 is being the empty fruit branch. And then the carbon sequestration's potential is around 10 million tons of CO2 equivalent per year. Meanwhile, for the palm oil fronds, with the area of planted palm oil is about 14.8 million hectares. 140 is trees per hectare for palm oil, and then there are 12 fronds per trees. Then the palm oil fronds biochar has the carbon sequestration potential for about 30 million tons of CO2 equivalent per year. Next, please. From the rice, we can use rice husk to make as a biochar, with the estimated yield of rice in Indonesia is 54.35 million tons per hectares. With the 0.2 is being the rice husk, it is calculated to has soil carbon sequestrations for about 5.3 million tons of CO2 equivalent per year. And then for maize, with the harvest area near 2.5 billion hectares and the productivity around 5.07 tons per hectares. The 0.3 is being the corn crop. It has the soil carbon sequestration potential around 31.6 million tons of CO2 equivalent per year. Next slide, please. And this one is the application of biochar in Genta Organic Program by the Ministry of Agriculture in 2033. The Ministry of Agriculture has developed this program in several provinces, and we can see here that the application of biochar by 0.1 to 1 ton per hectare combined with 2 ton per hectare organic fertilizer could increase the yield by 4 to 31% on specific locations. Next slide. And this one, because we have talking about the carbon market, carbon trading, and also the carbon pricing. So Indonesia has launched the national determined contributions, or the national target to reduce the emission reductions by 2030. We have the enhanced NDC in 2022, which agriculture is one of the sector that has targeted to reduce the emissions. These NDC targets were then regulated in carbon pricing schemes with the launch of Presidential Decrees number 98, 2021. Next slide. This is the implementation of carbon pricing in Indonesia. We have the regulation of the Presidential Decree number 98 in 2021. In this regulation, there are three mechanisms in carbon trading. The first one is through emission trading and the GHG emissions offset. The second one is the result-based payment. And the third one is the carbon levy. And also, it has mentioned in the regulation that other mechanisms in accordance with science and technology could also be acceptable. Following the presidential decree, some minister has launched regulation for each sector. The first one is the Ministry of Environment and Forestry regulations on carbon pricing. The Minister of Energy and Mineral Resources regulations on carbon pricing in electricity generation. The Minister of Finance regulation on tariffs and base of carbon pricing. The Ministry of Finance regulations on methods in calculation, collection, payment, reporting, and mechanism of carbon tax and carbon tax reduction. Coordinating Minister for Maritime and Investment Affairs regulations on a structure and work on carbon pricing steering and implementation committee, while the Minister of Agriculture regulations on result-based payment in agriculture sector is still in progress. Next slide, please. So we have arrived at our final presentations. There are several conclusions that we have stated here. The first one is biochar is made from agricultural waste biomass through pyrolysis process. Biochar application into the soil increase soil nutrient availability, increase water holding capacity, decrease bulk density, increase porosity, and improve soil aggregation, increase soil microbial activity, improve crop yield. Biochar mitigated GHG emissions like carbon dioxide, methane, and also nitrous oxide emissions. Biochar also acts as a stable carbon pool to sequester carbon dioxide emissions for a longer period of time, like hundreds of years. Biochar made from agricultural waste has many potential to participate in carbon credit schemes through increased carbon sequestration and decreased potential GHG emissions. Biochar made from palm oil, rice, and maize contributed on carbon sequestration for about 60 million 0.6 ton CO2 equivalent per year in total. Thank you. I guess that's all what my presentations today. Looking forward for fruitful discussions, and I'll give it the floor to the moderator. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Yeah, you can just bring up there. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Miranti. It's very inspiring for the presentation. If I can just a little bit summarize on what Bu Miranti has shared for us today, this morning. So biochar, we know, I think most of the researchers and attendees on this conference are related to the research on biochar. So we know that biochar is one of the alternatives to combat climate change by increasing the soil carbon sequestration. By converting organic waste into biochar, by converting organic waste into biochar with the pyrolysis process, it will lock the carbon content that can be released to the atmosphere from the organic matter decomposition. But if we change the organic waste or organic matter into biochar, we lock the carbon into aromatic. We change the carbon from easily decomposed carbon from the organic waste into the resistant and more resilient carbon in the biochar. And in the long term, we hope that if we apply the biochar into soils, it will increase the soil carbon content and then reduce the carbon emission from agricultural practices. And this is what has Bu Miranti shown in her presentation, that in 2023, just recently, the Ministry of Agriculture has launched the Kenta Organic Program that changed or converting organic material into biochar to increase the yield of agricultural product, especially palm oil, rice and maize. But also we can see that the soil carbon storage also increase with the application of biochar. So I think this is a very good potential way to show that application of biochar not only improving plant yield and improving soil health, but also improving the soil carbon sequestration to mitigate the climate change. For our second presenter, I would like to give the time to Bu Rosalind, Associate Professor Rosalind, please.
Assalamualaikum and very good morning to all participants of the International Seminar Biochar today. Before I start my presentation, I would like to thanks to the organizer for inviting me here. I'm glad to be here, and thanks to the Prof. Widawati, and we have President Biochar Indonesia Association here, Prof. Bambang, thank you very much, and Prof. Wani, and also the community, also the participant. Okay, my name is Ros Azrin from University Malaya, that just now introduced by our moderator. Thank you to our moderator. Okay, this is my title for the presentation today. I hope that can cover some information. Actually, from our first keynote already cover all the information. So maybe from my presentation, we can think together how to overcome and how to fill up the gap of the biochar things. So today, I'm from University Malaya, located in Kuala Lumpur. And then also together, I'm also from the Malaysian Biochar Association. And at the same time also President of Malaysian Society of Soil Science. So here I want to share about me, that when we're talking about the soil science, we need to find a tool how to improve our soil. So biochar is a very good material to improvise the soil. So the agriculture waste, forest biomass, waste, wood waste, and animal manure can recycle into valuable products such as biochar. And we see the recent years, biochar has emerged a promising soil amendment due to its unique physico-chemical. Please, before the slide. And then, but the problem is, even though we highlighted about the biochar, it's a good material, but in Malaysia itself, the practices by using a biochar still not utilized in our community. So with that, we established our association since 2014 to give an awareness about the research and also to apply biochar to our community. And next slide. Okay, from my background about the biochar, I'm started from introduce the biochar by the application for the commercial biochar to the soil amendment, and end up figure out the limitation application of biochar in terms of cost, production, and scalability of the biochar. Then the next research that I overcome is to enrich the biochar to formulate it, and because the main problem of the farmers doesn't want to use biochar because of the cost. So if you can reduce the cost of fertilizer, and then we not replace the fertilizer, but at least we make it half, or maybe reduce the percentage of fertilizer, and we reduce the cost of the farmers, they can accept the biochar as one of the organic material. So this is the one my niche research interest currently about the biochar. For next. So problem statements that I always highlighted when I give a speech about biochar. First, we're talking about the biomass waste. We are the agricultural country, and agriculture sector is the main activity in Malaysia. So we produce about 168 million of ton waste. So where's the waste goes? So biochar is one of the material that's good for the recycle. So this is the problem statement that we need to highlight why we need to convert our waste to the biochar. Number two, of course, climate change. As we aware that 1/3 of the GHG gases in the atmosphere came from agriculture, and then top 3 of the agriculture activity that contribute the GHG is from the manure and fertilizer. So how to overcome the problem of manure that release the gases to the atmosphere? By biochar. And how to reduce the number of the methane gas to the from the decomposition of the biomass to agriculture? Biochar. So the next is problem infertile soil. I'm not sure about Indonesia, but in Malaysia, our soil in Malaysia 72% is infertile soil. Even though you can see mostly our soil in Malaysia deep soil, meaning you know the meaning of deep soil, meaning that you cannot see the rock until the 1 meter of depth. So there's a very good soil. Even though we can see that soil is very good, we still declare it's infertile soil, because the first thing first we need to think about the fertility soil is pH, and normally our soil in soil in Malaysia is acidic. Automatically we declare infertile soil. And the range of pH in our soil in Malaysia is less than 5. So we need to overcome this problem, because first, for land preparation for the agriculture, we need to add liming, for example, as a soil amendment before you transplant your seedling. The plant nutrient, we cannot uptake the nutrient if your soil is acidic. So this is the problem in Malaysia, infertile soil. Is it we want to use liming over and over again? So number 4 is that I want to highlight to the community, to my student, about the soil degradation in the world. So this statement from the United Nations that mentioned 1/3 of our soil in the world is degraded. 1/3 because of the agricultural activity. I hope you take note. This information is good for you to transfer the information to the community, and why you want to ask them why we need to use biochar. Other than the climate change food security is the impact, but we need to know the instant reason why we want to convert this biomass to the biochar. So 1/3 because of the fertilization, pesticide, and so on, due to the intensive farming, that become our soil degradation, that degradation. Okay, next. So this one, just want to share about the soil in Malaysia. Of course, you in Indonesia also you have that your soils, and then in Malaysia, just now I mentioned normally infertile soil because we are under order of the oxysol, utisol, and also intisol exporter soil. We have 12 orders. So in Malaysia, we doesn't have the volcanic or soil order soil because we don't have a volcanic soil. So this is the main soil order in Malaysia that we can see totally infertile soil. So we need to do something in our soil. And then Okay, we have published one book that contribute all the soil series in Malaysia. If you want to collaborate with our soil scientist in Malaysia, you can refer this book. That more than 400 soil series in Malaysia that you can correlate with your soil Indonesia. Okay, next. So biochar is promising opportunity. Okay, significance of potential of biochar. So I divided to the 3 points. Why we need to biochar a potential. Number one is global agriculture waste utilization. Just now I mentioned. Then when we use biochar, they can carbon dioxide sequestration of around 0.55 petagrams million ton for the carbon dioxide. This is the figure. This is the proof. This is scientific figure. Because the community want answer. Is it true or not? Not just only high and low. So this is the figure by our scientists. Number two, the efficiency is mitigating greenhouse gases. That proven that biochar can capture and can lock the carbon dioxide. And number three, carbon storage potential. So later we will discuss why biochar can become a carbon storage potential. Next. So, anyone know about the history of biochar? Do you heard about the terra preta? You can raise your hand about terra preta and biochar. Okay, this is the history of biochar. History of biochar, where the word of biochar came from. So, actually, biochar came from when one of scientists overcome one area in the Brazil that the soil is similar with Malaysia because the area looks like Malaysia and the soil is oxysol soil, and the one area beside side and by side they can see one is reddish oxysol soil and the other side is blackish. So the scientists from 2006 overcome and try to figure out why that soil until 1 meter can become blackish. So they found out that about 2,000 years ago, our people already make it a biochar from burn, not slash and burn, but slash and char. Slash and char meaning that you burn your biomass and you cover it by the soil. And later on, after 200, 500 years, you can see the infertile soil until 1 meter blackish. It's quite difficult to make it, to convert our soil, 0% of carbon to turn almost 70% carbon. Where we want to get the carbon? This is the process from that our researcher overcome the word of biochar. Then from the word slash and char, they become biochar because of the definition we cover it in the soil and by the limited of oxygen. So later on the definition of this biochar is by limitation of the burning. So biochar, a carbon rich product derived from the pyrolysis of organic material, offer a promising approach to carbon capture and storage. So maybe you can Google about CCS. You need to understand what is CCS. Then you can chip in the word biochar to reach the word of CSS. So this is an example of biochar. So this one, when we're talking about just now our keynote speaker already explained about the huge numbers of the research already done by our researchers. This one publication last year, 2023, that overcome publication related to biochar 500. By the article itself, 4,909. You can see too many, a lot of the publication about biochar. That means biochar is very good for the already proved. It's very good to the community, to the industry, and so on. So this is the one of the proof. You can find it this article. No need to explain the effect one by one. But this one I want to share. This is proof that our biochar already not recently since 2006, they already overcome the research about the biochar and increasing cumulative of the publication. This one, including Malaysia, our article is more than 200, and including my paper, almost there, more than 20. Okay, then. Okay, biochar's application a pathway in carbon capture and capture and storage. So this is the mechanism of the biochar application pathway, carbon capture and storage. So when you put a biochar in the soil, they can store your carbon. Then over the time, we call it soil carbon sequestration. And then they can capture the carbon dioxide for the atmosphere. So this one is the very nice diagram that explain about the carbon capture and storage about the biochar. And the next, okay, this is about the diagram. Okay, okay, better next slide. Okay, I just want to know, anyone seen about this? Seen this slide? This slide? Anyone? This slide? Have you seen this slide? Have you? Okay, this one slide. If you want to know the answer, why biochar is good as a mitigating of the carbon dioxide, why biochar is good for our carbon credit, why is biochar good for the a lot of the function. So you need to understand the mechanism of biochar during the production. And so this is the very famous diagram established in 2006 from our pioneer of the biochar researchers. Then the highlight here, at the left is the carbon neutral. This is the normal mechanism of our tree, planting of our tree without biochar. And the right is we see the diagram when we apply biochar. So when we apply biochar, this is a carbon neutral. Carbon neutral, when you if you have the initiative for the tree planting, so this one is the process of the carbon dioxide captured by tree and then returned back to the atmosphere. This is the carbon neutral process. But when we turn or we convert biochar to the biomass to the biochar, and you use biochar as carbon stock as a carbon sequestration, you can see the effect of carbon released to the atmosphere less than 20%. Because after the tree, we cutting the tree and then become the biomass, then we transfer to the biochar. Then during the process policies, we already save 50%. And another 50% to bio oil. And then after the 50%, you become the carbon stock, carbon storage, and the rest will be goes to the atmosphere. So this is the diagram that we need to understand before we want to highlight the benefit of biochar to the environment. So why biochar can lasting in our soil? Because when we convert biochar convert the biomass to biochar in the with the pyrolysis system, they can become a carbon stable here. You can see the diagram there. With or without conversion, the biomass become the stable carbon. Okay, next. Okay, this one is the you can find this diagram in the Initiative Biochar Association. A lot of information about the biochar. This is diagram, the first diagram that's making us understand about the biochar production from the biomass, and then you convert it by the pyrolysis and go to the soil and go to the bio oil. How many percent we keep the carbon? How many percent we release to atmosphere? Okay. So next. So the example of the biochar plant in Malaysia that we already enhanced the information to the industry. Next. Okay. Before we talking about the carbon stock and we talking about the carbon capture. So we need to know about the process of the biochar production. So because the definition of biochar from the biomass to the biochar, and then biomass is many biomass, and then different biomass will be effect to different quality. So this one is the factors that make it your biochar is good biochar, quality biochar is not good quality biochar. So if you are intend to be a industry sector, you want to be a entrepreneur to produce a biochar, so this is the parameters that you need to take account, which is by the method of the pyrolysis. We have slow pyrolysis, fast pyrolysis, we have gasification pyrolysis. So you need to choose which one the best for your biomass. Number 2, the heating temperature. Different, different quality. For example, with your waste is more fibers, the temperature is lowest compared the hard waste. For example, wood. So you need to have more temperature. Sometimes or reach X100 of temperature. And then number 3, heating rate, and number 4 is residence time. So you need to optimize all the parameter during the production. So because we want to know just now from the first presentation, we can see the effect of biochar to the soil, effect to the water, effect to the carbon, to the CEC. But if you not optimize the waste, your biochar is very good, so you cannot get the good output. So next. Okay, this one is during the optimization of the biochar, I already list all the parameters that you need to take account during the optimization of production of biochar. Number 2, this is the must element that you need to monitor during the production of biochar. Number 1 is total carbon content. For example, for the rice husk, carbon content less than 50, and then if your waste is more hard wood, you can get more than 50%. Because according to IBI, Initiative Biochar International, definition of biochar, your carbon content more than 50. So you need to optimize it. If your carbon is less than 50, meaning that your biochar is not good quality biochar. So first thing first, you need to monitor your carbon content. So and number 2, you need to know the HC ratio or oxygen C ratio. This one you can use by FTIR and NMR to see the stability or thermal stability of your biochar, because a low atomic ratio that shows the good quality biochar. So next slide. So this one, the diagram that from the FTIR or from the NMR, you can get the aromatic structure, and also they can see with the low result, they can show the good quality biochar. Next. So number 3, this one is mass parameter for the good quality biochar. We call it fixed carbon and volatile matter. We have just one experiment you can get for data that shows this good biochar. You can get the high stability carbon for the biochar. Number 4, you need to measure the thermal stability index. This one you need to know the biochar stability of the physical chemical properties. And next. This one is very important because when I give information to the student and community, the difference between another organic material compared biochar, because of this is the beauty of biochar. Because for the compost, vermicompost, another organic material, doesn't have this kind of the properties. Because during the process of the pyrolysis, you can get the high porosity pore size distribution, and also the particle size and surface area is quite large. So as I mentioned just now, different biomass, different properties, and you need to take account the factors just now I mentioned to get a better porosity size. So just because the effect of the biochar to the soil, because of the can trap microbe and so on, this is the reason why biochar can become a good soil amendment, because of the size of porosity. Bigger size porosity much better for the biochar properties. Next. And the last, you need to have TGA instrument to check the thermal stability. And the last one is biochar pH and CEC. So biochar pH is just now mentioned about the acidic soil, about the cation exchange capacity of nutrient in the soil. So because of the biochar, normally after we convert to the biomass to the biochar, the pH is alkaline. The pH is alkaline. So when you add to the soil, they can help to increase the pH. This is the beauty of biochar. And then CEC, and with the CEC, because for example, for the sandy soil, we need to have organic material that can help to retain the nutrient. So biochar is one of the materials very good because high CEC. So this is the list X parameters if you want to produce a good quality biochar, and this one must parameters to observe the good quality biochar. Later on you can get a good result after you apply to the soil or water and so on. So next. Okay, biochar for soil carbon sequestration. I think from the first presentation already explained the effect of biochar to the application. So biochar can increase soil organic carbon, biochar can inhibit microdegradation, biochar can alter the microbial community. Because why? Because of the X parameters just now we monitor. Because of the porosity, because of the pH, because of the CEC, because of the stability and so on, they can become the soil carbon sequestration depend on your quality of biochar. Next. So this one are numbers of the publication from the 5,000 publication that appear under Scopus that studies about the effect of biochar in terms of pyrolysis, in terms of the application, and in terms of the absorption. You can see the three keywords. This is the main interest from our researchers because of the beauty of the biochar. Next. Okay, this one just three slide about the effect of biochar to the land. When we're talking about the biochar can capture the carbon. Number one, how the biochar can capture the carbon. This example of the diagram of nitrogen dynamic. When you apply biochar, they can hold the nutrient, and later on they can become a sequestration because biochar is carbon, stable carbon in our soil. Then slowly they can retain the nutrient, and then can give uptake to our plant. So this is the dynamic of the nutrient dynamics because of physical chemical absorption of biochar to our soil. You can see and then this is a study. The next one from the SEM picture. This is a study from my students that just not mentioned. First 5 years, I tried to explore about the biochar properties. Later on, I tried to enrich the biochar. This is a study from my student by inoculate of the Clostridium bacteria to the biochar, into biochar. So we call it, and we name it an innovation, we call it Biochar. I just want the award because when you participant, any innovation exhibition, when you bring the name of biochar, you have a big chances for win, from my experience. Because it's quite a new novelty and so on. So this one you can see from the big porosity, when then the bacteria and the biochar become the house or home of the bacteria because of the porosity of the properties of biochar. So this one they unique. Why? Why just now we mentioned they can inoculate of the microbe, we can enhance the microbe community because of this fundamental. And next. Okay, this one two case study in Malaysia. In Malaysia we have breeze soil, the natural soil we call it breeze soil. Then we apply biochar to the soil because this soil is until 1 meter depth is sandy. So we cannot buy a lot of the organic amendment apply to our soil become healthy. But with the biochar, with the small amount compared to another material, can give a significant result. So this is one of the how to overcome the national problem. We call it breeze soil. Another problem, next slide, is the next slide. This is an example of picture from my student when compared fertilizer only, and then and the left 50% fertilizer plus biochar. Then you can see the difference of the growth of the corn for the first cycle at the sandy soil. Okay, next. Another problem that we can solve by biochar is this kind of soil. This is the national problem about the soil. We call it acid sulfate soil because this soil is natural in our soil, natural, and then the pH is range from 1 to 3, very very low. So normally we need to put more than 4 tons per hectare liming, become only minimum yield of paddy, and then sometimes this area is beside area of the healthy soil and unhealthy soil for the kind of soil. So biochar is one of the materials very good for the how to overcome this kind of the soil. Okay, next. Okay, challenges and limitation for the biochar, because just now I'm talking about the properties of biochar. You need to know the properties and the quality. Then later on, you know that you can apply to the soil, they can become a carbon stock, and then later on, by the time they can become carbon sequestration. But that we facing the challenges that maybe we can discuss today how to overcome the problem. Number one, we're talking about the feedstock availability and sustainability. Even though just now I mentioned in Malaysia, our waste is almost 200 million, but that because of the awareness of our society for recycle of the waste, we cannot sustain production biochar because we have another interest to use that waste to another material. So sometimes we cannot sustain the material. Number two, production cost is the major problem. Prices and scalability. In Malaysia, just now we only have less than 10 big company that produce biochar. Because of the problem, demand from the farmers is not good. So the demand is no, and then the production is quite less a number. Number three, carbon stability and persistence. We're talking just now, different biomass, different production, different quality. So how you want to maintain your production? So number four is soil environmental interaction. So for example, when I give a talk to the farmers, they keep asking me how much rate of biochar that we need to apply. Rate of biochar we need to apply. So later on I will answer, depend on your material. Depend on your material. So actually this is not very convincing answer. So we need to, that's why, because soil and environmental interaction is the major challenges, because different type of soil, different material, you can get a different impact of the soil. That's why we need to have a guideline of the good quality biochar. Then you can give the committee the right answer. The certain quality you can get this certain amount of the effect, and then this certain type of soil. This is the output of your yield. Because I always receive this kind of question: how much rate you need to apply to your soil? So my answer normally, if you want to apply your biochar to the lands, range is 5 to 20, not more than 20. 5 is okay, because from the literature review, 5% already shows the significant difference when you apply this biochar to the soil, but more than 20% is not profitable to the farmers. Cannot return the ROI to the farmers. So not more than 20%. Actually, when we talk to the industry, 20% they already calculate in the head, and they said, oh, expensive. So maybe we can say 5 to 10 is better. 20 is quite expensive, because 1 ton is in Malaysia, 1 ton equivalent to 1,000 ringgit, 1,600 ringgit price of biochar. So 1 kg equivalent to, you can calculate in Indonesia, 1 kg around RM1.50. That's why it's the cheapest price of the biochar. So if you mention you want to apply 20 ton per hectare, you calculate it. So these are challenges for the biochar to apply to our farmers. The next slide. Okay, the regulatory frameworks and policy support. Okay, we need to see the win-win situation. We are the researchers. We always keep saying biochar is good, but the acceptance and demand for the farmers still less. So how we want to overcome the problem? We need to have some support from the government, and some support for the government that you need to have the clear guidelines, standard, and incentive are crucial in promoting sustainable biochar. So this one, the industry and government need to come in and help us as a lecturer, because we already published about 5,000 publication, and later on all in our room, the publication. So we need to apply this one. So number 2, developing robust policies can help addressing existing barrier and create an enabling environment for the effective application of biochar. So we need to have policy. And number 3, promoting research and development about the biochar. And number 4, implementing carbon pricing. So the latest news, we're talking about the carbon credit, carbon voluntary credit that can become the financial incentive to our industry. Okay, next, the last slide, I think. Okay, this one I would like to share for the initiative from the Malaysia. Just recently, the word biochar appeared in our national biomass action plan. So when I try Ctrl F word biochar in this document, we have 23 words. So meaning that biochar is one of the gain recognition from our government that moving forward to use that one to overcome the problem of national biomass. So thanks to our scientists to support the information to our government. So the key factors need to be addressed and considered in this document. Number 1 is technology availability. So just now we have a lot of technology to produce biochar. And number 2, we need to highlight about the demand. So just now in Malaysia we have problem. Company doesn't know where they want to sell the biochar. Number 3, feedstock supply. Number 4, business model scalability. And number 5, government facilitation. So this one is 5 key factors about the biochar that we need to take account when we want to highlight about biochar utilization for our field and agriculture. So next. So this is the message for the us. We don't inherit the earth from our ancestors. We borrow it from our children. So we need to return back to our children. We not disturb it. We do not degrade it. That we need to return it as we receive that our soil and our whatever our natural resources. But if you have time, please improvise the natural resources to give back to our children. Okay, next. Thank you for listening for my speak. Thank you.
Thank you for Associate Professor Rosalind. I think it's very interesting. We learn about how biochar growth in terms of research and also policy, both in Indonesia and Malaysia. So we can see from the 2 presenters that their acknowledgement of the importance of the biochar, both in agriculture and environmental management, especially in a greenhouse gases mitigation strategy, using biochar for carbon capture storage, both in Malaysia and Indonesia. Ladies and gentlemen, just a quick word from the organizing committee. We now enter the coffee break session, but the coffee break session will be delivered to our room. So we will continue for the next keynote presenter for the second session. For question and answer and discussion, I will lead into the after the 4th presenter finish his presentation, and then we will have a discussion. Now we go to the second session of the keynote presentation. Let me introduce our third keynote speaker for this international conference, Mr. Yasuyuki Okimori, PhD. He's currently a visiting professor in the Japan Biochar Research Center in Ritsumeikan University. And he is also a chairperson in the Japan Biochar Association. A brief background about Mr. Yasuyuki, PhD. From 2023 to present, he is a visiting professor at the Japan Biochar Research Center in Ritsumeikan University. And from 1992 until 2022, he is a Chief Manager Division of Overseas Marketing at Kansu. So I would like to invite Mr. Yasuyuki Okimori to come to the stage. Please give a round of applause to our keynote speaker.
Recording stopped.
Ladies and gentlemen, for our fourth keynote speakers for this international conference, I would like to introduce Mr. Fauzan Kumaidi, Technical Advisor for Plantation and Research and Development at Great Giant Foods Ltd. Since 2019, Mr. Fauzan has been trusted to become Technical Advisor for Plantation and Research and Development, as well as the Head of Research and Development at the Great Giant Foods Ltd. Previously, he started his career at the Muhammadiyah University of Yogyakarta as an education staff in 1988. And driven by his desire to nourish people's life, he has continued his passion for the Great Giant Food Ltd. The Great Giant Food Ltd is one of the leading agricultural industry for pineapple production in Indonesia. Mr. Fauzan has expertise in plant cultivation management, especially in tropical fruits, supported by his remarkable achievement course and trainings. I would like to invite Mr. Fauzan Kumaidi to come to the stage for delivering for the keynote speaker for this international conference. Please welcome Mr. Fauzan Kumaidi. Please give your warm applause. Ladies and gentlemen, let's start our second session for the keynote speaker presentation for the international conference. Mr. Yasuyuki Okimori, please start. Yeah. Excuse me.
Hello, I will start. I'm Okimori from Japan, and I'm very pleased to meet all of you attending this seminar, international seminar. I had begun the biochar promotion 20 years before together with my good friends. Back then, at the time, only a few people were interested in biochar, but I'm now delighted to see that the interest is now increasing, like in recent years, in like this seminar, attending all of you. My presentation today is biochar to support ESG. ESG stands for the environment, social, and governance. Governance means especially for the company. So I hope that my presentation will become some help for your activities. Next slide, please. I want to talk 5 sections today. First, what is ESG? And the next, how biochar relates to the environmental issues, social issues, and governance issues. It means within the ESG, for ESG purposes. Finally, I want to talk how we can promote ESG by using biochar. It's not simple, a little bit complicated. Next slide, please. First, what is ESG for, it's ESG. Through business activities, maybe there's some attendee from the companies, companies inevitably impact these factors. These three perspectives mean the environment, social, and the governance. These management by the companies is very important to achieve sustainable growth. Now, sustainable growth is one central scheme for the corporations. Then, explained about the environmental factors, focus on the, environmental factors is this type. This case, the display is a little bit not smooth. A moment, please. Operator, Mr. Operator, no problem. Anga sangkut bisa lancar. Okay, time is very limited, so I will continue. Environmental factors, it's focused on the natural environment like the global warming, biodiversity, and waste treatment. Social factors, it's refer to the individuals and the communities, like as the governance. Regarding the governance, to approach the above two issues involving environment and social issues, companies, corporations themselves must develop the operation and the management within the organization, like independence of the board of directors and stakeholders, dialogues within stakeholders, and the information should be transparent. Next slide, please. Thank you. Since 2020, ESG investment has been increasing. By embracing ESG, companies will be available to gain at least the following three benefits. One is from the upper, reduced business risks. Second, enhanced competitiveness. And third, it expanded opportunities of fundraising. Especially the second part, the enhanced competitiveness. Commitment to sustainability contributes to the enhancing a company's brand value and evaluation. This is important to gain the trust from consumers and your business partners. Next slide, please. Relationships. What is the relationships between biochar and ESG? Please look at the left illustration. How the business and the use of biochar can contribute to the realization of ESG. It's involving three factors: environment, social, and governance. First, environment. Biochar, it's promote two effects. Previously, speaker already explained two aspects. One is soil improvement and atmospheric CO2 removal. It stands for the CDR. Social matter, using biochar in open eco-brand crops. For a new word, later I will explain. A carbon credit and the cool village scheme, it's also our idea, later explain. So they will contribute to the narrowing the gap between the urban area and the rural area. This is a key point. So the third one, in particular, in this between the environment and social, this relation is strongly and mutually related. Okay. The third, corporate governance. It allows a clear CO2 reduction targets and advanced declaration of carbon negative implementation for the companies. Subsequently, please look at the right illustration. Subsequently, how we can build and promote ESG activities using biochar. 2 points. First, we should create a platform where industry, government, academia, and the public can collaborate. Second, we should establish biochar standards. Two approaches very important, I think. Next slide, please. How does biochar contribute environment? Next slide, please. As the previous speaker already declared, the biochar definition of biochar already declared, so I omit it. Biochar has two big environmental effects. The one is improve soil. Second is CO2 removal from atmosphere. These two environmental effects I explain from the regarding how improve soil shortly, because already Professor Rosales-Ring already detailed explained. Improving soil. This is a chain of applying biochar to farmland in case of Japan. The method of spreading biochar practically is not uniform. The left slide, it's a ridge, applied to the ridge. The right slide is a whole surface, like as a paddy and wheat. So it varies. Spreading method also varies. And it also differs depending on the type of crops between the ridges and the whole surface. So biochar's effects are not uniform. But however, overall, there are no negative effects. This is important. Then please remember that biochar is a soil conditioner, not a fertilizer. Should be add some nutrients. Next slide, please. This is in the case of biochar application to trees. On the left illustration, biochar was used to help recover. Next slide, please. Hi. Biochar application to trees. Left slide, the biochar used to help recover the growth of the declining trees. On the right illustration, biochar was added to the holes where pine seedlings would be planted. In both cases, the application of biochar is promote root growth and root establishment. For plants, it's important to produce many fine roots, and biochar helps with it. Next slide, please. Another effect of biochar is for global warming, a global warming issue. Next slide, please. This slide shows the carbon amount on the Earth remains constant. Back one slide. Please back one, yes. And this carbon on the Earth is found in the usually 4 locations. Look at from the above. At first, it's atmosphere, then the down, it's oceans. And so to the look at the left, plants and the soil, and down the bottom is deep in crust. These 4 locations, usually carbon is retained. Usually this carbon is move and circulates these 4 locations. The problem is, please look at the left side of the black bar. Due to the human activities, fossil carbon in the crust is being unilaterally released to the atmosphere. The carbon never escapes from the atmosphere. Therefore, the atmosphere is accumulating CO2 like a balloon. Therefore, it is very natural. Please look at the light bar allow. It's a very natural idea artificially sequester CO2 from the atmosphere. This is now a very urgent material. And please, next slide, please. This is a process to remove CO2. Please look at the light illustration, like as a tree. First, atmospheric, please look at from the upper side. Atmospheric CO2 is absorbed into plant bodies through, as you know, photosynthesis. Then the carbon is synthesized as a carbohydrate such as cellulose and so on. Next, when carbonized, the carbon in plant, slide is back, okay. When carbonized, the carbon in plant body is synthesized aromatic carbon. The aromatic carbon bonding is strong and resistant to separation and making biochar difficult to decompose. So biochar, its lifespan is longer than 100 years. Furthermore, 20 to 50% of the carbon in plant body remains intact. On the other hand, please look at left side of the illustration. As long as the human activities continued, we need consume a minimal amount of energy. It illustrates blue band, allow band, resulting in that some CO2 amount remained. Biochar play a role to offset these remaining emissions, and consequently net zero can be achieved. This is a biochar's role, important role. Next slide, please. The third section, biochar is a very excellent environmental agent, as you know, but unless we create a socio-economic system that provides benefits to buyers, sellers, and producers, and also the consumers, the adoption and expansion of biochar will not progress at all. Next slide, please. I know, sorry, it's a little bit small character. In order to realize it, one of our ideas is to focus on rural development, the right figure. So, because there is a significant social and economic disparity between urban area and the rural area, especially in Japan. Biochar carbon credit, please look at the center of the slide illustration. Biochar carbon credits and eco-friendly farming credits will become an effective agent to connect urban capital with the rural production. So this circulation means from the urban area and to the rural area, makes good incentives for all players and link them. And finally, we expect mitigating climate change and rural development to this aspect should go together, not separately, should go together. Next slide, please. First, how we can make use of biochar to social implementation. Next slide, please. This illustration shows the change of char use in Japan. Please see the left illustration. It depicts the trend in consumption and import volumes of wood char in Japan. The upper line is also black sakura. This line shows the consumption. The bottom line, the white sakura, is the imports. The difference between them indicates the domestic production of char in Japan. In the 1960s, the left side, 1960s, domestic char production was high, primarily used for the fuel. Then it declined rapidly. But from the 1990s, the consumption of char began to increase because of the growing utilization of non-fuel purposes. Non-fuel purposes, you can look at the bottom red lines. The ranging of the volume is around the 30,000 to the 50,000 tons annually. And look at, please see the right illustration. This diagram illustrates non-fuel uses. So the black ones are agriculture and other gardening and the golf course. This use is biochar as soil amendment. So another use is humid conditioner. It's illustrated yellow color. These are the use biochar as the adsorption properties of biochar. So this use, non-fuel use, is a little bit bland as a commercial scale, not even if not big. Next slide, please. So biochar had been well utilized historically and empirically in agriculture and horticulture for a long time in Japan. And recently, as previous speaker already explained, the research and the social implementation to biochar are rapidly encouraged internationally. But problem, biochar is used positively and less used positively for eco-friendly material in Japan, and also biochar is not commercially and fully developed. The most important challenge is how do we disseminate a carbon storage of biochar in our society, not only the natural, only science. We are now challenging a new course toward social implementation, still challenging. Next slide, please. This is one of our challenges idea is eco-branding commercial crops, with generating additional income for farmers. We gave a brand name called Cool Veg, C-O-L Veg. Cool means cooling the earth, and veg means a vegetable. Farmers who bury, embed biochar over 1 tons per hectare can obtain this seal. So it means a cool veg represents a vegetable grown at the farmland of the carbon storage. And also, please look at the bottom of the seal. You can identify the Bank of Kyoto. It's a sponsoring company's name, and they purchase several hundreds of seals. Their payment of seal is divided to the 50% to farmer, and another 50% to the organizer of the transaction of this organizer. Then sponsoring company can declare in the contribution to their practice of ESG. Next slide, please. This Cool Veg brand business was now really so demonstrated at Kameoka City. It's one of the cities in Kyoto. From the upper left slide, there are many of the abundant bamboo groves. So they harvested bamboo groves, and central slide, carbonizing using carbonized, and the right slide is mixed with the compost from the manure or from the livestock farming in order to enrich it with nutrients. So farmers purchased this mixture and applied it into the greenhouse farming. It's the bottom side of the picture. Next slide, please. The Cool Veg brand seal is affixed to the bags of crop products. It's encircled with a red line. It's a seal. So it's for sale. Next slide, please. This Cool Veg brand crops are actually sold in the supermarkets in the left upper side of the picture in Kameoka City. Look at the right side picture. At the grocery section, consumers can satisfy their preference for choosing eco-friendly vegetables. Look at the yellow circular. Here is a photo of members and a statement from the Cool Veg Farmers Group. They can, so in visual and easily to catch state. We have introduced them to some another major supermarkets and the food sections of a department store in big city Osaka, Kobe. Now it is spreading, not explosive, but gradually spreading. Next slide, please. The same the scheme, a rural area which utilizes Cool Veg brand crops. Please look at the left side of illustration. We can make a framework to link the many, and we call this is as a Cool Veg community. Cool Veg community. Firstly, please look at the upper side, upper illustrated figure. Agriculture and the forestry waste is collected and carbonized first. And the compost of manure fiber stock is mixture. And the farmers, the figure is the bottom side. The farmers embed such biochar compost in their farmland and to grow crops. And they apply to J credit. Please follow the arrow to the the right. J credit and obtain carbon credit. And then the right side figure, companies purchase them and declare their commitment to the ESG practices. In another way, please look at the bottom side, bottom line. Farmers sell Cool Veg crops besides carbon credits. And consumer feel satisfied to buy that crops. So totally, it serves as a model that effectively utilizes local waste from illustrated the left figure, and connecting to the urban players and the urban capital from right figures. So it's we catch total stakeholders. Yeah, thank you. Second, regarding the policy frameworks. Next slide, please. To advance the business, it's necessary for all actors to have benefits and incentives. And we hope that governments are responsible for creating the policy framework for this. Stakeholders related, it's listed in the bottom figure. Next slide, please. One of the policy framework for advancing this mitigating the global warming, restrictions, and another one is incentives. First, under restrictions, policies such as carbon taxes and the emission trading system would be imposed comparing fossil fuel consumers and high-emission industrial sectors to undertake CO2 reduction efforts involuntarily. Second, on the other hand, at the bottom side, allow the orange arrow. On the other hand, the subsidies, the carbon credits, serve as an incentive to encourage voluntary participation in CO2 reduction efforts. Here, I will focus on the subsidies and the carbon credit. Next slide, please. This is a case of a subsidiary support. In case of Japan, MAFF is the Ministry of Agriculture and Forestry Fisheries. They formulated the action plan strategy for sustainable food and system, so-called Midori. Midori in Japanese means green. This strategy to ensure a stable supply of food with being resilient to the disasters and the global warming. And this diagram is the supply chain. Please look at the bottom diagram. It is a supply chain of biochar use from the biomass. Second central is biochar production, and the right side is farmland. The subsidy of this program were made available to biochar producers. sorry, the one slide, please be back. Thank you. This program were made available to Biochar, subsidies to the producers of Biochar, and also the farming corporation. Two programs. Next slide, please. What? どうしようかな。まあいいか、continue だな。Time is limited. I would like to continue. Please, one back. Slide one back. Oh, 困ったな。Okay. This is an example of the subsidized incentive to the farmers. Firstly, farmers purchased 1 ton biochar at around $700. So usually, at least 2 biochar is applied to 1 hectare. So the cost of biochar is $1,400 per hectare. Okay, 1,400. Then, if farmers successfully gain biochar carbon credit, the credit profit is currently postulated at $200 per ton CO2. You can look at it, $200 CO2. It's equivalent to the charcoal, convert to the charcoal, $133 per charcoal. As 2 char is used in 1 hectare, the biochar cost is compensated with a $266 per hectare. If farmers use biochar, another program under the subsidy, local government can pay $333 per hectare. It's besides of the carbon credit. So it's from the subsidy. So it means that can easily calculate the total of the carbon credit $266 and the subsidy is $333. It's about $600 per hectare. Farmers can obtain. So in contrast to the previously I mentioned, the cost of the biochar is $1,400. So farmers, if successfully, can obtain this around the rest 50%. It's supported. So it's a very good incentive for farmers. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Okay. Third section 3, carbon credit of biochar. What is carbon credit? The carbon credit system, in this case in Japan, is known as a J-credit scheme, established. Please proceed one slide. One slide, please proceed. Go ahead. Thank you. Carbon credit, J-credit scheme. It's a 2013. And it is overseen by the 3 ministries. It's not voluntary carbon. And there are 4 sectors. The credit suppliers consist of 4 sectors. So energy saving, renewable energy and the forest management and agricultural sector. It's involving biochar. Between the credit supplier and the users, trading takes place. So the funds, with the funds being returned to the credit suppliers, you can follow the red circular. And credit sellers, credit users, the bottom line, can utilize to achieve their GHG production targets. In Japan, the companies, the corporation is imposed to achieve the several targets, not only one. This slide shows the process of J-credit certificate. Sorry, rather complicated. Please see the right side, the figure first. You can identify the black circular biochar producer, its start. biochar producer want to obtain the certificate of biochar quality. It's issued, certified by the Japan Biochar Association. I belong to that association. So please look down to the number 5. It's farmers. Farmers purchase this biochar with certificate. And please look at C, so shift to the left side. Number 6, it's a kind of the consultant. They aggregate the applications from multiple farmers, from not one farmer, from multiple farmers. And they apply to the J-Credit committee to upper side. You can identify the yellow box, certification committee. So apply to that place. Certification commission, after certification committee issues a credit, there are 2 ways for using that biochar credit. And one is, please follow to the left side. It's in case credits are sold to the companies. So from the companies, the farmers can get the profits. The another way, look at the bottom side. With number 9, without selling, the farmers can retire the credit by themselves and utilize them. So there are 2 approaches we can suppose. Next slide, please. これ難しいな。There are two types of carbon credits. Nowadays, identify the emission avoidance credit. It's the left side. So right side is a removal credit involving carbon credit, our biochar. Please look at the left side. Please see the red arrow. It presents a baseline. And the bottom is the blue line. It represents the actual emission. In case of the left side, the avoidance credits, virtual state, it means baseline, so it's a red line, it's a virtual state which postulates the subsequent emission if the facility is not improved. So the reduced amount of the CO2 is a virtual emission in case of avoidance credits. Please see the right hand figure. It's in the case of removal credit. It's actually sequestered CO2 amount from atmosphere. So it's so much different characteristics. Next slide, please. So now is evolving a significance of carbon credit. First, please look at the upper green box. Carbon credits were first introduced under the Kyoto Protocol in 2025 and were traded as a CDM credits and the JI credits. Maybe all the person will know. The next, not the next slide, please stay here. Second, the concept is being changed. This concept is now being changed following the Paris Agreement. First, emission avoidance credit. It now is becoming gradually cannot be used to meet a company's CO2 emissions reduction targets. In contrast, removal credits are allowed to reducing residual emission targets. So now it's gradually and clearly becoming different. It's defined by the SBTI. Next slide, please. So we have considered the ways to utilize biochar carbon credits. Please look at the upper box. For the agriculture corporation, the farmers, fund is they can sell the credit and receive the profits. Second, without selling a credit, they can sell own crops under the modified Cool Veg brand. And the second one is a credit buyers like other corporations. One is they utilize that credit to achieve own company's reduction targets. And the second is another way is transfer the CO2 removal value of credit to own company's products, like offset, using brand and branding and CSR. Next slide, please. That is present results of J-Grid scheme. Look at the upper yellow diagram. Currently, the number of the project registered is around 1,000. And second, the total certified credits is 9.4 million ton CO2. And the price, please see the bottom of the left box. In case of renewable energy, the price is around $65 per ton CO2. Then, in case of and trading, regarding trading, until last year, the credits are traded bilaterally only. But since this year, now two marketplaces are open. One is the Tokyo Stock Exchange and Carbon EX. Carbon EX is a private standalone exchange. So now Japan is the two marketplaces open to treat the carbon credit. Regarding the condition of the biochar credit, please see the bottom of the left side. The biochar credit now started 2 years before, have been certified 980 ton CO2, still small. But then about 20% was sold through bilateral trading, not 100%. So from the 980 ton CO2, now only 20% sold. Private negotiation. So price is around $150 per ton CO2. Of course, it is higher than the price of the new credit of renewable energy, but still compared to the international price is a little bit low. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Internationally, there are certification bodies and exchange for biochar credits in voluntary carbon credit. Three famous entities. First, PureWars. It's established in Finland. It's certified biochar, not only biochar, so another CDR activities. But they certified for the making registry, but only, or not open a marketplace. Second is a Carbon Future. It's established in Germany. They open a marketplace with also the certifying the biochar and the other CDR. That certification is controlled by the carbon, another group of Carbon Standard International, usually called CSI. Please see the third one, Vera. Formerly it's called the VCS in USA. They just, 2023, they opened the trading biochar credit markets. Now there's three. And another very interesting information, please look at the bottom side. It is one report. Report is a name called the State of CDR. It published in the 2023. This report is led by the University of some Oxford Smith School. It includes information on CDR technologies and the amount of credit and the trading conditions, all revealing the global status of CDR for the first time. It is a very interesting and attractive report. You can easily catch through the internet. So please read it. Very interesting. Next slide, please. So I summarized 2 sessions. What sets biochar apart from the other CDR methods is its ability to bridge both the environmental issue and the social issue. So another CDR methods so much different. It can achieve only by using biochar. Next slide, please. Section 4, how does biochar contribute to the corporate governance? First, the corporation should create a culture and a structure within the company, especially that takes climate change mitigating effects seriously. From the upper line, the first, the corporation established clear GHG reduction goals and plans. It should be based on the firstly, especially the measure and reports should be based on the GHG protocol. Second, that goal, definition of the goal and the implementation plan should be based on SBTi. So GHG protocol, SBTi, so I will later explain. Then, companies should establish their operation division and sections. And especially these sections should be controlled by the board directors. Another one, the third line is the corporation should be ensure stakeholders understand, and also inform the external stakeholders. Next slide, please. Regarding the GHG protocol, it is an international standard for the calculating and reporting GHG emissions, especially for companies. Second, it's a distinctive feature. It covers the entire supply chain. So please look at the bottom diagram. It illustrates the supply chain of the company. Look at the central box. Scope 1 to Scope 2, it belongs to the own company's energy consumption. And upstream and the downstream of the supply chain, it's covered by the Scope 3. So the indirect emissions. So this GHG protocol imposed to measure this separately Scope 1, Scope 2, and Scope 3, but covering this whole supply chain. This is a new idea. Next slide, please. Then, what is SBTi? So difference is GHG protocol is imposed to the measuring and the reporting. Then SBTi so imposed to the make a plan and make a target and the implementation plan. Measuring is by GHG protocol. Then clear targets and clear goals, and that implementation plan is by SBTi. So GHG protocol and SBTi are strong relationship. These two regulation is becoming an international standards. Maybe some of the attendees from the companies already know. Then, okay, next slide, please. The section 5, how we can promote ESG using biochar. Next slide, please. This is a model of the platform for developing biochar business, not research, not study, for business, involving stakeholders together. Please look at on the left figure, supply side. Supply side involves the production side of the biomass and biochar. Bottom line, storage side. Storage is by farmers organization. Then please look at the right side, demand side. Demand side consists of the carbon offsetting side, brand utilization side, and consumer. Brand utilization side is involving food industry and retail industries. Then, the central box, our biochar research center, it belongs to my university. This biochar research center plays a role in bridging this left supply side and right demand side. Then we connect by launching a carbon negative platform, carbon negative. So it means the biochar. Then, total this framework we call Biochar Consortium. So I want to emphasize the market for biochar is absolutely small. Nowadays, not big, present now. So the market will not be developed by the supply side alone. And the approach of the demand side is also cannot be developed by alone. So therefore, important thing is for these stakeholders to together make sharing the information activities and work together to expand the market because biochar market is still small. Next slide, please. Briefly introduce our biochar's activity of the Biochar Consortium. It's established in the 2022. It aims at achieve the social implementation. Please see the yellow box. Memberships with the paying members should be paid, and involving only entities, not the personnel. Corporation members are 100 and academic members are 30, organization or personals. Next slide, please. First service for the consortium members, we hold a public symposium at least once a year. And second, participants come from all over Japan, and most of them are almost private companies. Consist of the charcoal producers, agricultural corporations, waste management companies, and so on. And here, the participants can share the information and their concerns that they face at the site and the project. Next slide, please. We have created a study group, so different organization, as a service to our members. This study group is planned and cooperated by consortium members, and it's managed according to the needs of the members. Please see the bottom left side of the blue box. We have currently 6 study groups. One is the biochar standards, second, carbonization of apparel textiles. Now is a waste of apparel textile is a big problem in the world. Third is global carbon credit market. I charged it. Fourth, regional business model. Fifth, biochar production and application to farmland. And sixth, urban park and green belt. Each study group holds workshops with about 30 participants, so every year. Next slide, please. So another service for the members, we offer the individual consultation and the general consultation sessions. Look at the right side photos. This shows a consultation with one case, the Iwate Prefecture government in the northern part of Japan, which is planning a regional revitalization using biochar. Next slide, please. Another service. As part of another service is we visit member sites of the project to inspect the current state of their project. In this case, a sweet potato cultivator. It's located at southern Japan. Look at the left figure. They spread the biochar. Their biochar supplied by the gasification electric companies. Every day it's produced a huge amount of the biochar as a byproducts. And they spread biochar using a tractor attached with a loader, very easily and fast spread. Then, next slide, please. This is another members project. Some company of the company members of waste panel processed companies, they carbonize the waste wood, their factory, by a batch type of kiln, it's a closed one. with multiple units, not one. It's continuously linked of the sum of the batch type unit. And they challenge utilize not for biochar, not for the farmland. They are trying to use admixture of concrete, so new challenge. So we learn the actual conditions of biochar application and the production from the members' projects. Next slide, please. Section 5. Biochar, regarding biochar standard. This is a diagram represents the supply chain of biochar. So usually, outsiders think first, feel anxiety if without standards. Outsiders usually feel anxiety and doubt about the process of biochar. Please at the dotted line. First, at the feedstock collection, has the raw material been sourced really without natural forest? Or the second one, please look at the biochar production. Is the biochar safe? Who manufactured it and where? So another doubt, please look at the biochar application figure. Was the biochar actually stored in the farmland? So they are truly achieving carbon removal through this method. So if there is no standards, usually outsiders involved in the company and shareholders and other general public, so raise such concerns. So in order to give answer to these above concerns, we established a reliable method for the stable production of biochar, so using various kinds of their biomass. And we established a standards and verification methods for biochar to gain the reliance from the outside people. Next slide, please. Small. Please look at the left figure left side. It's a standards created by our Japan Biochar Association in 2018. This document outlines the definition of biochar, methods of measuring the recalcitrant carbon, and the raw materials for carbonization. Please look at the right figure. It's a methodology AG004 of the J-Credit scheme. Look at the bottom side of it's already lined with the red line. So this phase is from the AG004, making a criteria for the qualification biochar. It's adopted our Japan Biochar Association standards. So in your case, also the standards at first is necessary. Next slide, please. Oh, it's final one. The biochar standard in global. Internationally, there are some biochar standards. Now, it's a famous one, the three. One is the first one, the EBC. It's called the European Biochar Certificate. It was the earliest established in 2012, followed by the, now they published a new one, the World WBC, World Biochar Certificate. Also, another one, Artisan Biochar Certificate. There are several kinds of the certification, standards. Second one is IBI, International Biochar Initiative. It's 2015. And the third one is Australia and New Zealand have released a draft for unified standards. Of course, as you know, the pioneering organization is IBI. And each country has its own differences in biomass and regulations, such as waste management and environmental standards, as the Indonesian government and the local government also has this. So it's all depend on the country. So while biochar standards should be tailored to each country based on scientific evidence, not necessary to follow the Japanese biochar standards and other EBC. You should better to find that create own standards, but should be based on the scientific evidence. So I think it would be challenging to take the first steps forward domestically. Next slide, please. Roundup presentation. Sorry, the character is too small. So summarize very simply. As I declared, biochar has two very important environmental factors, environmental effects. But even if it's a very good agent, that benefits are still actually not well known to the public. The public, the very only few people know about the biochar. Unless we create a simple system to implement the biochar in society or socio-economic scheme, we cannot develop it. So perspective, I already mentioned eco-friendly value, such kind of new products, new environmental values. And better to create a regional model. Regional model is modified, includes the whole stakeholders. Then central and local governments should also actively support it until that model can smoothly operational. And companies, this is important, should recognize that pursuing ESG initiative in addition to seeking profit enhances your brand. Brand, it's very important to the companies. Last one, the effectively implement these initiatives, platforms that enable collaborate these four sectors, industry, government, academia, and the community. Finally, we should establish biochar standard in their own university. It's the last slide. Then I'd like to say a few words in closing. The biochar business for mitigating global warming has just begun. So there are many issues we need to overcome. In order to overcome, it's crucial to collaborate across these Asian countries and globally. I hope that this seminar will serve as an opportunity for us to build cooperation with all of you. Okay, so thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rokimori, for the presentation. I think it's really interesting, and this is what we call the future of biochar. We understand a lot about biochar application, biochar production, and how we apply biochar to the soils and agriculture, but this is the next step of biochar. The private sector, industry, and companies that needs carbon credit can use biochar as one of the means for getting the carbon credit they have to fulfill. And I think it's really interesting discussion we will have about how in Japan they implement the eco-friendly product if they use biochar, and also about the Japan credit schemes to allow the use of biochar for carbon capture and storage. Thank you, Mr. Okamori, for the inspiring presentation. And we come to the fourth keynote speakers for this international seminar. And I would like to invite Mr. Fauzan Komedi to share his presentation to the audience.
Thank you very much. Actually, right now it's lunchtime, so most of us is quite tired already. But first of all, I would like to thank to Professor Widowati and Professor Eko. It is really an honor for us to be able to share experiences about biochar in this noble forum. Our hope, of course, this seminar will give us an opportunity to accelerate the progress of biochar technology development in Indonesia in particular, especially in respect of how to produce biochar efficiently, because this is the main challenge for Indonesia. Everybody can produce biochar, but in terms of cost, is still quite uncompetitive, especially compared with the chemical fertilizer. Second one, also important for us, how to use it in various agricultural fields, that the information is very limited and spread everywhere, but not so clear when we apply in the farm. So for most of farmers in Indonesia, that aspect also still challenging. And the third one, we hope this opportunity can give us chance to study more detail how to in-depth learning, how to evaluate the economical perspective of biochar application. Thank you very much again. Before I present this short presentation, only 8 pages, let me introduce a little bit about the company of Grijayan Food. Our product mainly is processed pineapple for export, almost 100% exported to almost 70 countries right now. Per year, we export around 17,000 containers. So 1 of 4 of the canned pineapple, if you find everywhere, especially in Europe and America, 1 of them is pineapple canned from Grijayan pineapple. Our farm is located in Lampung, southern part of Sumatra. It took around 4 hours in flight from here, actually not so far. The second biggest of our operation is the banana fresh production, that every year we produce around 6.5 million boxes, and some of them also exported. Okay. The third one, we also produce, previous slide please. Sorry. The third one of our biggest operation is the cattle feedlot, mainly for fattening. We produce around 100,000 head of cattle every year. And then another is small operations, including guava and other fruits like cassava. Okay, next slide, please. Yes, this is the way we operate our business. We try to use of the waste, we can say, actually almost zero waste because all of the waste are already used for production. For example, in producing pineapple, we have a lot of skin of pineapple. We use it for cattle feed. And then from the farm, we also produce pineapple stem chop that used for bromelain enzyme. And the solid waste, we use it for vermicompost as a part of our composting also. And then we also produce BSF, maggot, mainly for production of biofertilizer to replace the fish oil that must be imported. We can replace with this material also. And then at the end, we use it, all of this compost for what we call premium compost, that 100% used for our operation in the farm. Okay, next slide, please. We start focus to the way we produce biochar. You can see in this slide that we use what we call fast carbonization process of biochar, because from entering the material until the production only took 15 minutes, very fast. And the recovery is quite high, from almost 1 ton per hour of input. We produce around 172 kilos of charcoal. I don't know what is the percentage, 174 divided by around 1,000. So that is the recovery. And the fuel consumption is very low. To produce that number, we use only 1 liter of biofuel. Another, we use syngas that produced from combusting process of this carbonization. Okay, next. Oh yeah, we bring our full team so we can discuss more detail after presentation. Let me introduce a little bit the boss of charcoal and composting plant operation, Pak Remy, please. So, if anybody would like to discuss with him more detail about the operation, you can spare special time for you guys. And then the rights people, Mas Saifuddin, who responsible for all research operation of biochar, farm research operation under his responsibility. And the middleman, actually he is Japanese, PhD from Japan, it means, but Indonesian. Yeah, he's responsible also in biochar production process. Okay, this is the physical specification of the biochar we produce. Main biomass that we use is bamboo and bromelain waste, solid waste of bromelain enzyme. The solid waste of bromelain enzyme. What is different? First one, in terms of the size of the hole, of the pores, biochar from bamboo is much deeper. but in the size is a little bit smaller compared with the bromelain waste biochar. It means its potential for different usage. For the microbes, we prefer to use bromelain waste charcoal. But for the keep of the fertilizer, we prefer use the charcoal from the bamboo. The bamboo we use also actually the waste from banana propping after it decay, because cannot use it anymore to prop the banana bunch and trees. We just collect it and process it for charcoal. In terms of size, the charcoal from bamboo little bit bigger, mostly around 35 mesh maximum, but from charcoal is a little bit smaller. Okay, next. This is the chemical specification of the product. Not so different, both of these material from bamboo and from bromelain waste. But some, we can say that especially the content of carbon from bamboo is much higher. And when we produce this material, the syngas that produced is much higher too. That's why the efficiency in using fuel is much more efficient compared with the bromelain waste. Okay, next. This is very important information. We use it 100% for our farm. Every year, we apply almost 2,000 hectares of this material. Average ranged from 35 tons per hectare to 50 tons per hectare. And the material composed from premium compost, mainly 96% from manure, 2.5 is from vermicompost, and 1.5% is from charcoal. So actually this activity is huge application, because we don't apply just in the dry season, but also in the wet season we should apply. So very mechanical intensive for the application in the farm. Okay, and next, yes. This is the main use of our charcoal. For pineapple, around almost 2,000 hectares a year using premium compost. And then for silage of corn silage, for feedlot, for feeding the cattle, also we use charcoal. For banana, the response of charcoal to banana is very, very good. No more application of dolomite, because charcoal can replace dolomite to increase the soil pH. As you know, in Lampung, in our farm, the average of soil average is only 4.5, but the banana need pH at least 5.5. So should be increased at least 1 point to optimize the growth of banana. For grown peanut, as a rotation plant, also we put a lot of biochar. Yellow papaya and other trees of fruit, actually not only pandan wangi coconut, but also durian, jackfruit and other fruits, we apply it regularly. Next. This is short information about how effect of the biochar to the pineapple. The left side, from the picture, you can see that if we use biochar for 10 tons per hectare, we can speed up the growth, accelerate the growth. Normally, to reach 2.2 kilos of pineapple, it took 12 months, but using biochar, we can accelerate until 9 months. So 3 months earlier. What it means 3 months earlier for pineapple? It's huge of money because we can reduce a lot of fertilizer application at least by 30 to 35%. Because most of fertilizer, chemical fertilizer that we apply close to the induction time of the pineapple, flowering induction. In banana, this is special case when we rotate banana with pineapple or pineapple with banana, the yield of banana increase a lot, and also pineapple after banana also increase significantly. But the main challenge after pineapple, we have some bromacil residue in the field that affect the banana growth. So plant losses due to the bromacil residue is very high. The question is, what is the function of the bromacil to neutralize the residue of bromacil? We conclude that quite effective. We can reduce the incidence of the toxicity for more than 20%. 20% is huge. But there is still some challenge because after banana growing and close to the flowering, the root is become also expanding. When reach into the soil that still contain bromacil, the leaf start to yellowing again. That is the main challenge. And we calculate if we should apply broadcast, the cost will be very high, become no more economical. So this one still needed to be researched more deeper. For the pandan wangi is fresh coconut, originally from Thailand actually. In Thailand, it's popular called Nam Hong coconut. We start produce using marginal land, not good land, marginal land that located along the river, because we also want to conserve the water. The most economic way to conserve the water when we use the land also for productive land. And right now we use it for pandan wangi. For charcoal application in pandan wangi is quite good, especially the aroma, the flavor of pandan wangi become more stronger. And also actually in the guava, we plant a special guava that we call it red crystal guava. The color of red become more shiny too using biochar. Okay, next slide. That's enough. Again, if you have some question, we can discuss after lunch or during lunch. Again, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Fauzan. Precisely time it. Okay. Sorry. Ladies and gentlemen, and honorable guests, we now come to. Okay, now we come to. Excuse me. Yes. Okay. Sorry for the inconvenience. Now we come to our session for a question and answer and also discussion. I would like to invite everyone who would like to give a question, comments, or even a discussion to our presenters. But first, I would like to address Mr. Gusti Irya for.
Thank you to, is it Bapak or Ibu? Oh, Bapak, okay. From University of Lambung Mangkurat. As for how to scale up in industrial productions, for the Ministry of Agriculture, actually, we have starting to plan to build some demo plot in farmers by under the Genta Organic, as I have mentioned in previous presentations. That Genta Organic is we try to, in this coming years, we try to how to get the farmers to produce the biochar by themselves. That's what we try to plan. And about how the industry, I think about the industry, we until right now, we doesn't have any plan to get into the industry, as it industry, not farmers industrial, but the industry sector.
Thank you, Ibu Miranti. So if we look at what our discussion today, I think one of the important is that we also have several agro-industry company in Indonesia that already starting producing biochar, such as Pak Fauzan over here. Then Pak Fauzan also share how agro-industry in Indonesia already see biochar as one of the solution for waste management, but also to create a product that can be applied as soil amendment for soil health and also for increased plant yield. I think I would like to invite Pak Fauzan to share more about how in industry, in Great Giant, look biochar as one of the side product or as waste management. Fauzan.
Yeah, thank you. Actually, when we build the strategic planning for long term, we have two fundamental. First one is the regenerative agriculture. Second one is the precision agriculture. So both is the same important, just like the two sides of the coin. The opportunity to do regenerative farming is very important because we realize that without maximum effort to keep maintain, not only to keep maintain but also to increase the productivity of the soil is very, very challenging. Everybody concerned about the food shortage in 20 and 50, but the question is, what is the quality of the land in the next 25 years without any effort? That is the main reason why our company push to implement the regenerative agriculture. Just for information, if we calculate cost by cost, application of premium compost per hectare is much more expensive than total chemical that we use per hectare. Per hectare for produce of pineapple that we can get around 100 tons per hectare right now. It needs almost 25 million drops of chemical fertilizer, excluding of the pesticide, just fertilizer. But using this premium compost per hectare, almost 30 million drops per hectare. So this commitment is very important. We realize that if we don't focus on this matter, in the future, the productivity of the soil become less and less. Because we also have our own experience. Without any input of compost, the soil degrades very fast. Especially if even we apply already for the compost, but you know that compost decay also very fast in the tropical zone. After 9 months after application is nothing. Only 9 months. Compared with the charcoal, can persist more than 100 years. So that is the beneficial of the charcoal. But again, So another comparison, I can expand a little bit. The production cost of charcoal per kilo right now is around 25 cents in our operation. But if we use compost, raw compost, to produce charcoal from raw compost, you can imagine it costs more than 28,000 rupees. So 1.6 US dollar. Very expensive. But again, this is the commitment. So in the future, some of the compost, raw compost, we start to produce charcoal too. Because we understand already that 50 tons per hectare of compost will be nothing if the decomposition rate and the erosion rate is very fast, like in our tropical zone. Thank you.
Thank you. So it's really assuring that not only academics that want to increase the soil health capacity, but also a private sector also realize that it's important to keep the soil fertile for future generation. Thank you. Again, I would like to invite audience, if you like some question or comments to the presenter, please do. Okay. Excuse me? Yep. There's I think Cherno would like to ask a question. Please state your name and for whom the question is directed to.
All right. Good morning. My name is Chernoba, a postgraduate student of Tribuana Tunggadewi University. Thank you very much for all the presenters for the insight. It was indeed a very valuable presentation. My questions goes to the second presenter. From the presentation, we have seen very valuable insight on the importance of biochar. It cannot be overemphasized. Now, you have made mention in your presentation, one of the adaptability or acceptability of biochar by farmers is the cost of production. But there can be also another reason apart from the cost of production, because there are various ways in which research knowledge can be disseminated to farmers. Like the first presenter said when she was answering one of the questions, using demonstration plots with farmers so that they can be, participatory agents in the research. So how is Malaysia government, like the Ministry of Agriculture, working with the research agents in order to disseminate this information to the farmers so that they can adopt it? Thank you.
Yes. Oh no, it's I will. I will. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Channel. This second question is for Ibu Rosalie. The question is that how in Malaysia, how's the government participation or strategy to increase the knowledge of biochar to the farmers and increase the participation of farmers to produce biochar and apply biochar in their field?
Okay, thank you for the question. So, based on my presentation, the utilization of biochar in Malaysia is still not to the perception of the farmers is still low. But from the government aspects, we have the Malaysian National Plan that just launched. That they include biochar is one of the material that's good, one of the good conversion of biomass to the biochar. Another way is we highlighted in the My Gap and My Organics. The biochar is one of the good material for the farmers. So during the awareness, during the campaign, during all the activities with the farmers, we add this information under the section of the certification MyGap and MyOrganics, and then the latest is under National Biomass Plan.
Thank you, Ibu Rosalyn. Again, I would like to invite audience from the floor if you have a question or comments to the presenters. Yes, I think Mr. from the back first, then second. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Moderator. First of all, I would like to appreciate all panelists this morning for very valuable information and knowledge. I would like to address my first question to Bu Dr. Mirna and Prof. Hazelin about the biochar for carbon capture. So in my understanding, the carbon capture can happen through the fixation of atmospheric carbon to the terrestrial ecosystem, either by plant or by soil microbes. Yeah, so I eager to know about the carbon uptake or carbon capture from oil palm plantation. Yeah, oil palm plantation. Do any of you or both of you have information about the how to say, maybe the different carbon fixation or carbon uptake by oil palm with and without biochar application? Yeah. And then I would like to ask the second question to Oshimori Sensei. Yeah, I think if I understand well your presentation, you told that your government, how to say, take tax from vegetable, I understand. So I want to know, one is, does this regulation apply to the whole part of Japan or only in your prefecture? That is one. And the second, how big the tax? Yeah, maybe how many percent? Yeah, of the price of the vegetable, for example. Yeah, and then how the mechanisms of the tax application, whether it is during the payment in the supermarket or, yeah, please explain a little bit more about this point. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Sorry, sir, I didn't get your name.
Oh yeah, Abdul Hadi from Lambu Mangkurat University, Banjarmasin. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Abdul Hadi. Yeah, I think we're going to have a discussion first, and then we're going to move the second question. The first question, excuse me, Abdul Hadi, is it for Dr. Miranti for the first presenter or the second presenter, Ibu Rosali? Oh, first and the second. Okay, so yeah, the question is about biochar application in oil palm. Do Indonesia have any information about how, if we apply biochar in oil palm, is there any difference in the carbon capture and storage, and how is it in Malaysia? So I will give it to Dr. Miranti to answer the question first.
Thank you, Professor Abdul Hadi. Unfortunately, that we did not have any data yet about the biochar applications in palm oil. Maybe Bu Rosalind, but actually in Indonesia there has several research, but for me, myself, as in my institutions, we never did that in palm oil plantations.
Okay, about the question about the carbon uptake of the oil palm after application of biochar. So from my knowledge during my as an examiner for the master student, for the trial for in the glass house only for the seedling, so we can see the difference between the with and without the carbon content of the oil palm uptake, of course, but the significance is not too much compared to the application of the biochar. So for the additional information about the application of biochar oil palm in Malaysia, so in Malaysia we have some bodies. Normally we under big players of oil palm plantation or under smallholder plantation that manage their farm all over oil palm plantation in Malaysia. So currently we are not yet applied the biochar to the oil palm yet. So we still in convincing them that to add the biochar under their procedure or SOP for the fertilizer management. Because as mentioned by the other speakers, that biochar with quite high cost when we add to the procedure for the fertilization. So still under discussion and still under promoting of this material.
Thank you, Ibu Rosaline. I hope the answer is quite clear. Professor, maybe I can also share my experience as well. Before my PhD, I was doing my master also with biochar. I was involved in research with biochar in palm oil, but not for carbon storage, but for nitrous oxide mitigation. So we apply biochar made from empty husk from the oil palm, and then we apply to the soils in one of the oil palm plantation in Palembang. And then we record the nitrous oxide emission for the whole year, and we see that with the biochar, it reduced the nitrous oxide emission, and also, not only nitrous oxide, but also CO2 emission also reduced with the biochar. But I cannot comment any further with the carbon capture because that's a different methodology as well. Thank you. And for the second question for Professor Agronomy is how the eco-branding vegetables with the biochar application is working in Japan, and does it exclusively in your prefecture or in all Japan? Yeah.
Thank you for the question. It's regarding the expansion of that eco-friendly or eco-branding vegetable. It's gradually spreading. Then its efforts by the private sectors only. So now the project is less than, in Japan, less than 10 projects. Then important thing is some project it's expanding very rapidly. At that time, it's some supported by the local government. If the private sector only, as you know, where the company's efforts only, it's very not easy to find the client and the price of the supermarket, the department store. But if some support from the local government, it's very easily to promote. And the second one, the role, two roles. One is by local government, and the second one is retailer, so middleman. So the farmers can, farmers can produce. But it's rather difficult to find the supermarket, department store, shop in the city. So necessarily some middleman, retailer, can understand the importance of this cool eco-branding vegetable. So very easy to bridge between the producer, farmers, and some marketplace. So in cases Osaka, it's some middle retailer, they have a very good relationship person. He is a very good interest in the biochar. So very easily to find. So one is some support from the local government, and the second is fortunately we can find a good retailer or not. If the private sector only, not so easy to find the clients. It's an actual situation. So I said now it's spreading, but not explosive, gradually. Thank you.
Thank you, Kumari Sensei. I hope that's clear the question. And I think we're coming to our last question from Mr. Excuse me, Organizing Committee. Would you like to ask some question? Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Saito. I'm from the Japanese consulting firm called Nippon Koei. And yeah, thank you very much for all the presentation. And especially I would like to have a question to the first two presenters. With regard to the carbon credit system. So as was in the presentation of the Professor Okimori, I understand most of the crediting mechanism is started with the voluntary schemes from the private sectors. While I would like to get any update in Indonesia and in Malaysia about how you are thinking about the national system about crediting. So especially for the methodology development, how you quantify the real carbon emission removal by.
Thank you. So this is the question for Ibu Miranti and Ibu Rosalind. Is how's the national system for the methodology of either its biochar production or even for the carbon capture storage, both in Indonesia and in Malaysia? So I will give to Bu Miranti first to answer the question.
Thank you for the questions. As for the methodology, until right now, we still use the methodology by the IPCC. But currently in agriculture sectors, we are planning to have some standard about the biochar and also the methodology, like what Professor Akamari has presented, that we plan to build a national standard on how to produce a good biochar, the good quality of biochar, and then how the removal will be calculated, and also how to gain the credit schemes. Thank you.
The question is the methodology and also the system for biochar production and also for the national carbon capture storage schemes in Malaysia.
Okay, thank you for the question. So for the Malaysia, we're talking about the carbon capture. So one of the method for the government need to look into is about the incentive, right? Incentive. So similar with from the Japan, one of the incentive is carbon credit. So in Malaysia, we just recently group for the carbon credit discussion among the players of biochar. So this one handled by the Bursa Carbon Exchange. Bursa is some bodies that take care about the monetary, about the saham. The exchange, about the stock. So in Malaysia, that bodies that are responsible to take care about the calculation and so on under Bursa Carbon Exchange. So we just recently we have the group working, discuss about this one, and then we moving toward about the carbon credit and incentive about this one, about the carbon capture and so on. We already have about more than 200 paper publication from the various researchers in Malaysia. So I believe that already support to the government to provide the carbon credit to our industry player in Malaysia.
Thank you. And I think it's really clear that for us involved in Biochar research, the future is starting to shape more concise of this. Thank you very much for the audience for the question and discussion. Since we coming to the end of a really good session from the keynote speakers, allow me to give some closing remarks about this morning presentation. The first is that we know the importance of biochar right now is not only about soil fertility and soil health, but also for carbon capture storage and waste management. And the second is that we understanding a lot from a lot of research about biochar production and biochar application. And now we understand that we need to have the standard for biochar production. Either is it for carbon capture storage or either is for fertilizer. And the future of the biochar, not only for soil amendment, and then we look into that how the ECG, the ECG schemes and carbon credit, it also plays important role in the future of biochar application and biochar usage, not only in agriculture but in environmental management. And lastly, I think we all agree here, collaboration between academic researchers, government, and also private sectors is also important to shape, to have what we want, a sustainable future. Just as I think Buru Asri say, what we have now is what we owe to our future generation. So we have to have a good sustainability practice in both agriculture and environmental to have a better future. Once again, please join me to give a round of applause to our presenters for today. I would like to give back to the Master of Ceremony for the next session. Thank you.
To all the speakers, please stay on the stage. And to
Ladies and gentlemen, we've just concluded another insightful session. Let's give a round of applause again to the speakers for their excellent presentations. Thank you.
thank you, Dr. Erwin Wisnubroto, for moderating the session. You may back to your seat. We would like to ask all the speakers to stay on the stage for the token appreciation. And the first appreciation will be given to Dr. Miranti Aryani and Associate Professor Rosazlin. To both speakers, please come forward. To Dr. Miranti Aryani and Associate Professor Rosazlin, to both speakers, please come forward. The appreciation will be given by Professor Eko Handayanto. To Professor Eko Handayanto, please come forward. The second appreciation will be given to Professor Okimori and Insinyur Fauzan. The appreciation will be given by Professor Widowati. To the participant can join the photo session. To all the speakers, please stay in front of the stage for the photo session, and to the participant, you may join the photo session.
All the participants can come forward to take a photo sessions with the speakers. And please the speaker just stay on the front of the stage.
To all of the participants, please stand up and joining the photo session.
To all the participants, please stand up to join the photo session. Thank you.
To Professor Okimori, please stay on the stage as another appreciation will be given by Mr. Rudijanta Utama. To Mr. Rudijanta Utama, please come forward. Mr. Rudijanta Utama will give appreciation to Professor Akimori. To Mr. Rudijanta, you may come forward.
Ya, ini arang dari Srikaya Pasta Apple ya, untuk ornamental charcoal ya, dikarbonisasi di 400 derajat Celcius. Jadi ini arang hias. Ini buah arang Srikaya diarangkan.
Terima kasih banyak kepada Yayasan Dian Tama Pontianak, kepada Pak John dan Pak Rudi. Kami telah menerima arang hias yang terbuat dari Srikaya. Terima kasih.
Give applause. Ladies and gentlemen, give a round of applause.
Thank you. To all the participants, please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, now we are going to break for lunch. Here are a few important details regarding the lunch break and prayer time. The lunch break will last for 1 hour. This will give everyone ample time to enjoy their meal and take a break. Lunch will be served in the dining hall outside of this conference room. Our staff will be there to guide you if you need any assistance.
For those who wish to pray, a prayer room is available behind the Traita room. There will be a sign to guide you to the prayer room. Please be back in the seminar room by 1:30, so we can start our next session on schedule. We have an exciting lineup of speakers and activities planned for the afternoon. Take this time to relax, enjoy your meal, and network with your fellow participants. Thank you and enjoy your lunch break. And for you who are in the Zoom meeting, you may also take a break and in the next 1 hour. The parallel session will be started and led by Mrs. Ayu Chandra. We look forward to seeing you back here shortly. Thank you.
Recording stopped.